Our fall economic statement will be narrowly focused on a few key challenges. It will be focused on building more homes faster and making more homes available for Canadians to live in, on continuing our work to make life more affordable for Canadians, and on continuing to deliver our fiscally responsible economic plan. As a result of our economic plan, since the depths of the pandemic, Canada has had the fastest rate of fiscal consolidation in the G7. This means we have brought down our deficits faster than any of our G7 peers. 2 weeks ago, data published by the IMF in its World Economic Outlook also reaffirmed that our government's economic plan has Canada on a responsible fiscal track, showing that Canada ranks as the country with the lowest net debt to GDP ratio in the G7 by a significant margin, and with the fastest projected economic growth in 2024 as well. As detailed in the annual financial report released today by the Department of Finance, Canada's debt to GDP ratio was 42.2% in 22-23. That is down from 45.4% in the previous year and from a pandemic peak of 47.5% in 2019-2020. Today, Canada maintains both the lowest deficit and net debt to GDP ratio of all G7 countries. Cet engagement envers la responsabilité financière.
We are committed to maintaining the AAA credit rating of Canada, and that is one of the reasons Canada had such an exceptional uptick in its economy after COVID. That is why more than 1 million Canadians are back on the job market compared to the beginning of the pandemic. I will also update you on our fall economic statement, but now I will pass the mic to Anita.
Hello, everyone. Introduction. We'll start here. The last number of years, you have seen our government work very hard to fight for a better future, which is why, as my colleague just mentioned, Canada has a AAA credit rating, low unemployment, and the lowest net debt to GDP ratio in the G7. Just last week, we saw a decrease in inflation numbers. Our government is fully committed to supporting Canadians during this economic time while maintaining that our fiscal house is in order. This morning in Parliament, I tabled the public accounts of Canada for 2023, which include the government's audited consolidated financial statements. Dans le cadre de notre engagement à l'égard de la
We are committed to transparency and to being responsible. Therefore, the government is providing financial information throughout the year.
The fall economic statement, quarterly financial reports, the fiscal monitor, and proactive disclosure, to name a few. The public accounts, for their part, are a snapshot in time of the government's financial situation. The 3 volumes that I tabled provide a comprehensive annual report on the government's financial results for the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2023. Les comptes publics aident les Canadiens.
Public accounts help Canadians better understand how their money is invested.
Canadians will see that, unlike the opposition, our government believes in investing in Canadians time after time because we need to build a stronger economy and a stronger country. We will do this while supporting prudent fiscal management, and the public accounts show exactly that. I want to highlight 2 very important points. First, the annual deficit for the fiscal year 2022-2023 was $35.3 billion compared to the projected $52.8 billion. Permettez-moi de répéter ceci. Le déficit annuel pour l'exercice 2022
$35 million compared to the previous billion dollars compared to previous years. This
refocus our priorities to decrease our deficit. And we can do so not at the cost of cutting supports for Canadians like the opposition plans to do. We did it while introducing important measures to support Canadians like the grocery rebate, the Canada Dental benefit, the workers benefit, and so many other important investments. Deuxièmement, pour le 25e année.
For the 35th consecutive year, we have received an auditing opinion from the Auditor General. This demonstrates the quality of our auditing, of our plan.
Will never admit. We will always remain accountable, transparent, and fiscally responsible. So in this economic time, we must ensure that taxpayer dollars are being used most effectively. And that is what this economic team and our government is focused on. We will continue to strengthen our economy while delivering for Canadians. Bill after bill, law after law, we will build a stronger and more resilient economy. Thank you. Merci, Miigwech.
Okay, over to you, Francois Philippe.
Merci, merci.
Thank you to my colleagues. Hello, everyone.
Comme vous le savez,
As you know, we are implementing concrete measures to increase competition in Canada. This had not been done for decades. Last year, we announced a series of modifications to the Competition Act. Last month, we proposed a bill on affordability and housing, C-56, that will further make modifications in order to increase competition, especially in grocery stores.
we can all agree on that. And the way to achieve that is to have more competition in our country. Now, as I said last week, if there is one thing that the Conservatives and the other parties can do to bring relief to Canadian consumers right now is to vote for the affordability bill that we have before the House. That is the single most pressing measure to make sure that we have more competition in our country. The sooner they do that, the sooner it will help Canadians struggling with the cost of living. Plus tard aujourd'hui, je vais rencontrer certains.
Today, I will meet groups that fight for consumer rights. It is essential to increase competition to stabilize prices, but we also know that we need to use all of the necessary tools to help consumers in Canada. The ways to do so are to increase support to consumers' rights. That's why we have invested large amounts of money to reinforce the Competition Bureau, which is the first time that's been done in 30 years.
Consumer advocacy culture in Canada. And that's something that government cannot do alone. By working in closer collaboration with consumer advocacy groups, we will be able to hold the grocers and the manufacturers more accountable. So today, I'm announcing more funding for nonprofit consumer advocacy organizations. We will finance projects that will focus on two key areas for Canadians. First, examining retail practices that negatively impact consumers like shrinkflation and dequaliflation. Second, we will finance organizations that help with the development, the promotion, and reporting on a standard grocery basket in Canada. Over the next 5 years, we're going to triple this funding to $5 million annually. It will also enable immediate expansion of previously approved projects to also include grocery and the retail sector in Canada. Notre gouvernement continue de travailler jour après jour pour rendre.
Our government is working hard day after day to make life more affordable for Canadians. As you've heard me say before many times, the way to do so is first to force major grocery stores to keep their promises. Second, to strengthen the Consumer Bureau. Third, to continue our work towards a grocery store code of conduct. Fourth, to have a conference on the prices in grocery stores. And fifth, to update the law on the Consumer Act.
Trust us that we'll keep on fighting every day for Canadians to stabilize price in this country. With that, we will be happy to take your question. Merci tout le monde.